My queen, I have news about our marriage. I know those words probably made you wonder what happened, and I wish I could see your expression right now. There has been so much uncertainty around us lately that even a simple sentence about our marriage can feel heavy. But I want you to listen to me calmly before you let your thoughts run ahead of you. I have been speaking with my family, especially my father, because I refuse to let decisions about our future be made without my voice being heard. There have been difficult conversations, disagreements, and moments when I wondered whether anything would ever change, but I kept going because I needed them to understand that this is not some passing feeling for me. My father still has his expectations, and I won't pretend that everything suddenly became easy. He has always believed that my marriage should strengthen the royal family and preserve the traditions that have existed for generations. He wanted someone with a royal background, someone whose family would fit naturally into the world I was born into. But I kept telling him that a marriage should not be decided only by bloodlines, titles, or family names. I told him about you, about your character, about the way you carry yourself, and about the person I have come to know. Slowly, the conversation changed from whether you were suitable for the royal family to whether the royal family was willing to understand the person I had chosen. And today, something finally changed. My father agreed to reconsider his decision. He hasn't suddenly forgotten every tradition he believes in, and he hasn't become a completely different man overnight. But he has agreed to meet you properly and listen to us before making his final decision. For me, that is more than I expected after everything that happened. It means the door that was completely closed before is finally open. I wanted you to hear that from me, because I know how much his refusal has weighed on you, even when you tried not to show it. I also want you to understand that I didn't ask you to become someone else just to earn his approval. I didn't tell him that you would change your personality, your values, or the way you live simply because you would become part of my family. I told him that if we are going to marry, I want you to remain yourself. I don't want a version of you created to satisfy royal expectations. I want the woman I already know. The person I chose before any title, ceremony, or family approval became part of the conversation. There is still a lot to discuss, and I don't want to give you false promises before everything is settled. But for the first time, I can say that we are moving forward instead of standing at the same wall. There will be meetings, conversations, arrangements, and probably more difficult moments before everything becomes official. But now there is a path ahead of us. And after everything we have been through, even having that path feels like something worth celebrating. I keep thinking about how different things might have been if I had simply accepted my father's decision at the beginning. Maybe everything would have been easier for everyone else. But I would have had to live knowing that I allowed someone else to choose the most important part of my future for me. I couldn't do that. I respect my family, I respect my responsibilities, and I respect the position I was born into. But I also have a heart that belongs to me. And when I imagined the future, it was always you standing beside me. So, my queen, don't be afraid of what comes next. You don't have to walk into my family's world wondering whether you are good enough. You don't have to compare yourself to anyone they might have imagined for me. You don't have to prove that you deserve to be there. The only thing I want from you is honesty. When the time comes for you to meet my family, be yourself. Let them see the woman I saw. Let them understand that I didn't choose you because I was rebelling against tradition. I chose you because after everything I have seen, I cannot imagine giving this place in my life to anyone else. And there is one more thing I want you to remember. This marriage is not just about a royal ceremony, a title, or two families standing together for photographs. It is about what happens after everyone leaves. It is about the mornings when there are no cameras, the difficult days when responsibilities become overwhelming, and the quiet nights when we are simply two people trying to understand each other. That is the future I care about. If I'm going to stand beside someone for the rest of my life, I want that person to be you. So yes, my queen, I finally have news about our marriage. And for the first time in a long while, I can tell you that the future we kept wondering about might actually be waiting for us. I know you may still be wondering whether you should believe me after everything that has happened. I understand that completely. We have heard so many difficult things about our future that good news can almost feel too fragile to trust. But I'm not telling you this to give you temporary hope. I'm telling you because I want you to know exactly where things stand. We finally have an opportunity to move forward, and I don't intend to waste it. I want every step from this point onward to be honest, clear, and something we both choose willingly. There will be a formal meeting with my family, and I know that might make you nervous. You may wonder what they will ask you, how they will look at you, or whether they will judge you, because you weren't born into the same world I was. But please don't walk into that room thinking you have to impress them. You don't. You don't need to memorize perfect answers or pretend to understand every royal tradition. Just speak honestly. Let them meet the person I already know. If they ask you about your dreams, tell them. If they ask you about your values, tell them. And if something makes you uncomfortable, you have every right to say so. I have already made one thing clear to my family. I will not allow this marriage to become something that takes away your identity. If you become my wife, you will have responsibilities, of course, just as I do. But that doesn't mean your entire existence suddenly belongs to the crown. You will still have your own thoughts, your own choices, your own interests, and your own voice. I want you to feel like my partner, not like someone who was brought into the palace simply to fulfill an expectation. My father may take time to understand that. He has spent his entire life believing that tradition protects the family. I believe tradition can be respected without allowing it to control every decision. Perhaps that is where we disagree most. But I think he is finally beginning to understand that refusing to listen to me would only create resentment. He may not agree with everything yet, but he has agreed to give us a fair chance. And honestly, that is all I wanted from him in the beginning. I also want you to know that I'm not expecting you to suddenly feel comfortable with everything. If you're frightened by the idea of becoming part of my world, tell me. If you're worried about losing your freedom, tell me. If you're worried about what people will say, tell me. I would rather hear every fear you have than watch you hide them behind a smile because you think you're supposed to be strong. You don't have to pretend with me. If we are going to build a life together, I want us to be able to talk about the difficult things as openly as we talk about the beautiful ones. And perhaps the most important part of this news is that we finally have a choice instead of an obstacle.